back on the Exit 52 podcast, presented as always by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Big day here in Baltimore, MLB trade deadline day. The past couple of years, that usually meant something a little bit different than it does this year, the year of our Lord 2025, as the Orioles were big time sellers at the deadline. Here to break it all down with me is my guy, Arditti. We're going to be joined by Spenny shortly. Before we get to all that, how are we doing tonight, pal?
I am very happy this deadline is over and passed. It was a lot. The deadline kind of rocked. Like it came on fast and furious. The Orioles, we knew that they were going to make trades. We knew that they were going to move guys on expiring contracts. We didn't necessarily know that they were going to move guys who were still under team control, like Ramon and Brian Baker in the last couple, week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever. But that's the direction they went. And boy, oh boy, did they get a lot of new prospects. Not much in the major league talent system, which we will talk about that because everyone and their mother is freaking out, and rightfully so. Again, it's a lot. This isn't the spot that we thought we would be in. And 6 months ago when we were talking about like what we thought the deadline would look like or who would go, I don't think, we thought any of this, but this is where they are because of the offseason they had. And now we kind of can put this whole the season is done. Like we've talked about that for a while. We've known, like I was getting DMs after they swept the doubleheader, like, are they going to buy who, or are they going to hold on to guys? And I was like, no, these guys are still going to go. Like they're going to get traded regardless. So, now we can kind of put the season in the rear view and focus on the offseason. And we've talked about it before. I said it on Twitter today, but this is by far the biggest Mike Yastrzemski to the Royals. By far the biggest offseason in franchise history. Elias, this is probably his last. I mean, if this offseason doesn't go to plan, he's done. They have to hire a manager. They have to probably get some more coaches. They have to fill all these holes they have. And Spenny will come on and say this, but I mean, the young core is still there, and provided they stay healthy, I think they're like the future is still very bright. Like people are like ready to close up shop and move on. I don't think that's the answer at all. I mean, there's still a lot to look forward to with this team. They traded away guys who weren't going to be here next year, except for Ramon and Brian Baker, and they got back a ton of prospects who you can now use. This is where, it takes two to tango stuff. You have all these prospects now. You have to trade them. You have to put together some sort of package for Mackenzie Gore or one of these pitchers, or sign Dylan Cease. Spenny will come on and say it, but he thinks they're going to offer a massive pitcher, a massive contract to a pitcher this offseason, and they absolutely have to. If they don't, like old school Washington Redskins, win this offseason, then it's a failure. They have to absolutely smoke this offseason. They have to. So that's it. Again, it's a lot to digest. It sucks saying goodbye to these guys, a lot of guys that we've seen for a while. And that's sports. That's baseball now, and that's just sports and being a fan. What did Trillwither say? You got to be an idiot to be a sports fan. Like, yeah, we're all just idiots. Like, we should have just gotten into plays or poetry or something like that, but here we are being idiots for the 36th straight year.
She's going to text you back, bro.
Having a little sex.
Yeah, we've had this conversation probably just endless times already up to this point in the season. I'm a little more hesitant than probably both of you guys. And I guess what I would say is, I know like Spenny has just been in the fucking trenches today, and I know he's going to like get on the Gatling gun and start, absolutely firing down on people. And you're kind of more toward that side as well. And I totally get where you guys are coming from. But like, I guess what I would say is people, no matter what they're saying, I know there's been some concern about some of the return that we've seen, which I don't even really agree with to begin with. People aren't mad about that. That is absolutely not what they're mad about. Even if they're trying to say, they're just mad that this season turned into a wash when the expectations were high. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, like, that's okay. Like, they should be. And I don't think we should like discourage people for that, or like, and like, another thing is like you say the future is bright. I tend to agree with you in terms of this young core, but like we've been saying with the build the foundation, build the house analogy, it's time, man. Like it's over. Like all that shit is done. You tried to build a house. You tried to kind of save on the wood. Maybe you didn't buy the best lumber. You tried to, maybe you went to Harbor Freight instead of Ace, and you skimped on the screws, and they fucked up, the framing or something like that. Like it's something just you didn't really approach this offseason in the best way possible. I don't think they totally put their best foot forward. And the argument that there weren't that many great options available, totally get all that. But guess what? You whiffed on Corbin Burns. You didn't get a Max Fried, and all of that continues to happen while all of these young core guys that we're talking about still remain unsigned, all still on their rookie deal. So I'm with you in that I'm still mostly optimistic, but man, I totally get and share some of the side. Yeah, absolutely. Vinyl siding, just like you skimp this year. And unless you come back absolutely, like you said, firing on all cylinders and ready to turn this thing back around, which after today, shit, man, you're actually in a pretty decent position. I mean, this farm system was not looking too good as of a couple of weeks ago. And now all of a sudden after the draft and after some of the guys that you get back today, which we're going to get into, you got some ammo to go out and do your job and try to get some guys, big names, whether it's via trade with some of these prospects that you picked up or just spend the money, which like we've also talked about ad nauseum, you got no excuse not to spend now. You have David Rubenstein as a resource and all these other people, Mike Arrighetti, Cal Ripken, like you've got a wealthy ownership group that I think wants to be competitive here. It's time to go put our best foot forward and try to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And like I'm just looking at some of the comments. Mason, I'm mad about said, but I'm more mad about the lack of a real return. But I mean, if you look across baseball, like every trade, I mean, you're not getting back again. Said's a rental. Like the Mets aren't gonna, mortgage. And I think they got to. Again, it's impossible and it's dumb to do this. Like, oh, the Orioles won this trade with the Mets. We don't know that, and especially with these trades, we won't know for years while these guys are coming up in the system or traded or something like that. So like we can't sit here and say like, oh, I'll give this trade a B, I'll give this trade an A. It's irresponsible to do that. It's just like draft grades, like you just can't. But there were no real like MLB play, like they were never going to get an MLB talent traded from the Mets here, and that's just how how it is. Again, they're not going to mortgage their future, or they're made guys on the major league roster for said who's a rental. And also don't believe that fake tweet going around about how Cedric has already called Mike Piazza and the Mets to see if he can wear 31. Like that's
for sure, dude.
Just, yeah. But yeah, I mean, this isn't MLB The Show. Like we're not just going to trade this guy for this guy. And it's a good return one.
Just so we have it out there, all three right-handed pitchers prospects: Raymond Gomez, Chandler Marsh, Anthony Nunez. I think if I saw correctly, Nunez was the top of the line of these three guys, but none of which are.
I thought it was Gomez. I think I thought Nunez was the one coming off Tommy John. I think. I could be wrong. I've been working all day, so I haven't really been able to dig my teeth in, but I think Gomez is the guy who also throws like 104.5. I know he hit. Averages like 101 on the fastball.
80 grade, 80 grade fastball through 104.
And again, I think they said his he does have some command issues, but so did Felix, and they were able to fix him. Again, we've talked about it for a while, but if there's one thing that the Orioles seem to be able to hit on, it's finding these reliever guys. Look what they did with Danny Coulombe and Austin Voth and Yennier Cano for a little bit, and Felix and all these guys, and so they can do stuff like that. But yeah, it was a lot, and kind of started last night with Ramon. I know Andrew here. Ramon stunk and was blocking Mayo. I don't think Ramon stunk at all. Ramon he was a very, very good player. You knew exactly what you were going to get from him on defense. Arguably the most underrated player in the Elias era. I mean, I think he was like a 10.5 win player. Not bad for a waiver claim. He wins a Gold Glove. And again, I feel like he was very, very consistent and clutch. It was like anytime you needed a big hit and he was up, it feels like more times than not, he'd give you that. And he'd go to the opposite field, or he'd, poke one down the line, but he would make every play except for that one yesterday that he airmailed. But again, they get him for a big pitcher, and Twine Palmer. If they
look at that mustache.
I know if this deadline cemented anything, it's the Orioles love a good name. So Twine Palmer coming here. I had some stuff on him earlier. Big guy. I know he only threw like 2 innings last year. I think they shut him down, but out of Oklahoma State, maybe. I can't remember. Again, it's been a lot. Yeah, he's a big guy. Basically what it comes down to is I think he was eligible or arbitration eligible next year, so he was going to get a raise. He's a utility guy. He's not going to play over any of those other guys. And yes, he was nice to have. But you can get a guy that is going to produce like him for cheaper, and they were able to get a player back for him.
I feel like a lot of people, and I can definitely speak for myself on this, a little bit more of an emotional attachment because he was kind of there in the upswing. I remember in 2022, listening to the Red Sox, I was kind of sailing the high seas at the time to watch my game. So I caught the Red Sox feed, and they were talking to Palmer, and they were like, yeah, we were talking to Palmer, and Palmer said that Urias is the best player of this group right now. And I remember that same series, he knocked one over the Green Monster, and yeah, man, he definitely had his moments, winning the Gold Glove, and just seemed like a very likable kind of guy, and just sort of a guy caught between generations a little bit. But overall, yeah, I mean, the defense, and I think a lot of this too, Andrew mentioned that he's blocking Mayo, true to an extent, but we saw what happened when he got hurt last year, and Mayo gets called up, and Mayo just completely looked lost at third base, to say nothing of the fact that it's taken pretty long up until basically right now for his bat to catch up to MLB speed. And he's probably going to be settling in at first base for now. And I think that gave me more of an appreciation for Urias, is the fact that, yeah, Mayo, great in theory, prospect's always great in theory, but to have a guy like this who can pretty much play any day for you and be solid and has a solid bat, I think that's just, it's not something that should be overlooked. But you're probably right in that they can more than likely find another guy like this relatively easily. And so, yeah, Twine Palmer, I don't know word one about the guy, but it is intriguing at least. And it does seem like a lot of this return has been pitching focused, which is good.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We went into, just like you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, it's like, man, this farm system is kind of shot, and there's no real pitching now. I know going into yesterday, or I think it was after the draft, maybe 8 of their top 12 prospects were pitching, were arms. So now, I would assume that's gone up. This is from our buddy Pigtown Sports. Really good stuff. Twine Palmer is an interesting cat. Missed 6 weeks this year because of an injury, but 42 innings, has not allowed a home run. Ground ball pitcher who runs the ball down and away, needs to control the walks, but he's holding hitters to a 192 slugging percentage on the year. So this is JCM. He was ranked 37 on Houston's farm system, but again, he didn't pitch at all last year, 2 innings. So that's part of the reason. 6'5", 2.13 ERA, and a 25.1 strikeout rate in low A. Faced 175 batters this year and has allowed only 3 extra base hits. So again, it's Twine Palmer looks like it's a country singer from the 70s and not a professional baseball player. But yeah, they have Twine Palmer, Boston Bateman, and now Brandon Butterworth. So again, they've got the names. He's a 19th round pick out of Connors State, not Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you mentioned Bateman and Butterworth. I guess we can get into the trade with San Diego, which I think was the one that really, as we throw Spenny in here, and we'll get into the San Diego trade, which I think really was the one that I think is probably the coup of the day here, and probably the entire, this. You talk about revitalizing the farm system. I think this is kind of the one that you would look at ultimately. So yeah, it's O'Hearn and Laureano to the Padres. For, you mentioned, and I got Steve Molesky's tweet right here. It's for left-handed pitcher Boston Bateman, ranked number 4 by MLB, number 6 by Baseball America. Infielder Cobb Hightower, number 6 by MLB, number 8 Baseball America. Infielder, outfielder Victor Figueroa, number 29 for both. Right-handed pitcher Tyson Neighbors, number 12 MLB, number 20 Baseball America. Infielder Brandon Butterworth. Right-handed pitcher Tanner Smith. Solid return.
A lot of guys, a lot of guys coming in, and again, Spenny will talk about it, but if this is the time to package these guys together, and this is when you go get a Mackenzie Gore, and that way, and again, you still haven't moved any of the big guys, the core: Mayo, Adley, Gunnar, Jackson, Colton, Westberg, Kerstad, still to a degree, Basayo, Dylan Beavers. teams would go crazy to have those guys in their system playing next year. Like it's a very solid setup still. And again, if they can get a Mackenzie Gore or get some of these pitchers, Dylan Cease is going to be a free agent. Michael King, who's been pretty hurt, if they can get him on some kind of cheapish deal and make some bread out of that, they're still in a very good spot. I know Spenny's been all over that, and that's why I asked earlier. I put out the bad signal. I said, Spen, we need you on tonight because you can translate these thoughts to the common folk better than I can and better than anyone else. So I'll turn it over to you if you're ready to fire away.
Number one, I've never encountered such stupidity that earlier today I saw a statistic or something, if you want to call it a statistic. It said for the first time in history, bots have surpassed human activity on the internet.
Dead internet theory.
I was like, wow, that sucks. That's terrible. But I actually now, after today's trade deadline and the reaction specifically to the Baltimore Orioles, I actually am happy with that because people are so brain dead that I would rather talk to fake people, bots, about what's going on. It has become such a miserable place. The Orioles have traded spare parts for 15 prospects in a year where they will not make the playoffs. Now, why are they not making the playoffs? Well, they don't have a good enough rotation and they had a lot of injuries. Those are the two reasons the Orioles won't make the playoffs and contend for a championship. And I do think Michael Urias objectively failed to provide the prerequisite staff. Corbin Burns left, but let's think about the possible moves. They could have re-signed Burns. They could have extended him. They could have gone to 6 years. They could have beat the Diamondbacks number. Maybe that gets him to stay. He wanted to go to Scottsdale. Maybe that was possible. Snell wanted to be on the West Coast. Maybe they make him an offer he can't refuse. Fried, who knows if he ever even picked up the phone. Maybe he never wanted to be in Baltimore. Maryland taxes suck. The Orioles haven't won shit in a decade. They haven't won shit in 30 years, 20 years, 30 years. 40 years. I mean, they haven't won a playoff game in a decade. And they're not a major market. The Yankees, hey, that's more appealing. The taxes are pretty similar, and the Yankees are a bigger market. You get more endorsements there. Unfortunately, that's the case. So, of the moves that were made, there was one, Garrett Crochet. The Orioles could have traded for Garrett Crochet. They could have parted with Jackson Holiday or Samuel Basallo, or they probably could have traded a slew of Kobe Mayo, Heston Kjerstad, I don't know, Beavers, Bradfield, whoever their top-rated arm was. That's basically what the Red Sox did. They ended up doing the no Mayer, no Roman Anthony. They took the other route. Hey, here's 4 really solid prospects. Yes, the Orioles could have made that one move, I think. I think that was a possible move they could have made. They would be in the same place they were last year at best. It would be replacing Burns. They still don't have Bradish. They still don't have Rodriguez. Eflin ends up, and maybe through the butterfly effect, maybe they go get Crochet or whatever move that you did in MLB The Show that never actually happened and no one ever actually made. But maybe through the butterfly effect, Colton Cowser doesn't go dive into first base and break his thumb, and Jordan Westburg doesn't go on the IL, and Zach, maybe. But who the fuck are we to, you can't say that. So the best case job Elias could have done probably would have been to trade for Garrett Crochet, and they would still not be as good as they were last year to me. They would be fighting for a wild card spot. Maybe the lineup magically starts hitting the playoffs. Maybe Adley suddenly comes to life in the playoffs at the plate. Whatever. But at the end of the day, none of that has to do with this trade deadline. There are so many tweets. Here's that dude, Andrew. I said the Orioles netted 15 prospects for players that the Orioles acquired via waiver claim. 13th round pick. $13 million one-year free agent. Kittredge, maybe I was mixing that up with Morton. They traded Morton, add him to the list. Kittredge and Morton, one-year deals. Cash considerations, $4 million contract with a club option, a waiver claim, a player-for-player trade last year, and a player-for-2 low-level prospects trade last year. 15 prospects plus whoever they got from Morton. Who knows? Maybe they just got cash considerations, our homie for him. They traded none of their core. Nothing is different moving forward. There was maybe one player in Ramon Urias that would have maybe made sense, but guess what? They have O'Neill, and they have Beavers, and they have Cowser, all these guys playing corner outfield anyway. Ramon Urias has played great this year. He's probably a replacement level player still. He's not winning you anything. He's not winning you the ALCS. He's not winning you the World Series. So to have so much vitriol is maddening. Paul Valley tweeted, Avi Miller goes, last line from Steve Maluski, these deals aren't about improving the 2029 Orioles. It's about stocking a system that can go get win now players for 26 and 27. Mike Elias will have all the pressure this winter to make the 2026 Orioles winners. Paul Valley says, most fans understand this. It's just that most fans don't think he's capable. He's never done it or shown a desire to. He's only ever done it one way. What the fuck are you talking about? He traded for Corbin Burns last year. He traded for Zach Eflin last year. He traded for Trevor Rogers. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Corbin Burns got Cy Young votes. And then guess what? They didn't re-sign him. And then he got Tommy John. So what are you talking about? Do you have brain cells? Do you have any neurological synapses firing in your brain? Is anything wired in there correctly? I would rather talk to the bots on the internet at this point than talk about the Baltimore Orioles on Twitter. It is unbelievable. Another random tweet. At Casey Binu, all this talk about Elias, hopefully dealing newly acquired prospects for big league talent during the winter meetings, under fucking scoring the fact that Elias shouldn't be in charge of the winter meetings. What has Elias done that is so wrong? I don't understand. He failed to trade for Garrett Crochet, basically, and put the Orioles back to a team that makes you feel warm and feel like they've got a little shot, the little engine that could maybe be the one to sneak through the playoffs. Watched it the last 2 years, not going to win a title. Sorry. I watched them. The arms aren't the issue. They haven't been able to hit. No one cares about bats at all in any of this.
The young guys still remain unsigned. I would throw that out there. That bothers me.
So fucking what? They're under contract through 2027. The first player that's leaving is Adley in 2027 if no one is signed. That means there's a clear 2-year window and a 3-year window where all of these guys that are part of that core are Baltimore Orioles for the next 3 years, except for Adley, who has 2 years. What is this? What does the extension do? Make you feel good? It doesn't win games. It doesn't win a championship. I mean, there could be more to it. Okay, pay Adley. He treats his body better. He gets the best, private whatever in the world. Okay. That is the only valid argument to me. The only misstep he's really made was trading for Burns and it not turning into a multi-year situation. And Burns, as we know alone, who got Cy Young votes, was not enough. Wasn't even close. They didn't even win a game in the playoffs. So at the end of the day, it's on this young core. He's put all his marbles in that basket. It's Gunnar, it's Adley, it's Westy, it's Cowser, it's Holiday. Those are the players that are going to have to win the Orioles a championship. He's going to have to trade for 2 pitchers probably, or trade for a pitcher and sign another pitcher. I just don't understand what the sentiment today of what are they doing? What do you think they should, what did you want them to do? Keep rentals? Keep rentals for fucking what? So that they could win like 7 more games this year? They don't even have a bullpen. Felix is out. Everyone's hurt. It's not their year. Sorry. I'm sorry. It sucks. This is the most excited I've been about the Orioles since the All-Star break last year. Since then, it has been a pit of misery. They have cleansed it. It is the young core, and they have a completely restocked farm system to select the pieces. Now, they didn't do it this past offseason. They did it the offseason before. But to say there's no history, there's no reason to think that Elias will make the necessary moves. They traded for a Cy Young winner who got Cy Young votes on the Baltimore Orioles. So what are you talking about?
I'm with
what
you.
What are you talking about? They've never, the biggest free agent contract in Orioles history is Tyler O'Neill. They've never gotten a big free agent. Ubaldo Jimenez. The 2 biggest deals, AAV is Tyler O'Neill. The biggest in total contract value, free agent, not extension, is Ubaldo Jimenez. $60 million 4-year deal. Tyler O'Neill got more AAV. They have never won free agents. It's not a destination. I'm sorry. Baltimore's not a destination for free agents. LA, San Diego, New York, Boston, Chicago, the city, the taxes, all of it. It's not a destination. The market is small. So you're not going to win free agents. I'm sorry. Trade the rental. What else are you going to do? It's maddening. I think it is insane.
Which that turns into like what the Giants did, where they haven't been able to get any hitters to get there. And what do? They trade for Rafael Devers. But yeah, this is the Orioles have to do this. They absolutely have to. And Spen, I agree with you. And obviously the extension talk, like, yes, it would calm people down and make people like, oh, okay, there is a future, and people wanted to.
Mark also makes the argument that it will, obviously it's less money up front, like you're getting them at a lower point, ideally. I mean, honestly, it might make sense to extend some of these guys right now, like right the fuck now, with Adley struggling and Gunnar having a down season. Like, this could be the perfect time for it.
Due to the principles of inflation, cash today is worth more than cash tomorrow. Incorrect. Next.
Here you go. Left-handed pitcher Micah Ashman is coming back for Charlie Morton. So
I saw that. Yeah.
Another arm.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm with you guys that like all this shit needed to happen, but like I'm just, we're 7 years into this thing, and I'd like to have an off season where they go out and not only do they try to get it done, but they do get it done. And I understand that just makes me an emotional fan. I totally get that. Like I understand where
I wish they did it in 2024. Oh wait, they did. They were stacked into last year. They got a Cy Young pitcher. They had Grayson Rodriguez as a number 2. Unfortunately, 5 injuries since, and they had how many All-Stars in their lineup? I mean,
23 was the year that they should have gone all in the season too.
I think that deadline. You walked out of that deadline with Shintaro Fujinami and Jack Flaherty. That's the real miss. Like that was the one to go all the way in on. They, I don't even really judge them that harshly for that one. I don't think Flaherty. It's weird that he was as bad as he was, considering what he was before and what he's been since. And then Fujinami, that was strange. But overall, like, I don't know. I'm with you, but like Burns, that's one move. And then you're talking about the young core. Like ultimately, you're right that it does come down to those guys, and like they have to get their asses healthy and they have to start producing like we know they're capable of. Like, I'm with you on all that, but it's just like Eric and I have been talking about it for months now. It's like it's essentially just wait and see. And yeah, this is your job's on the line now. Go get it done or get another job.
Well, also, like, you had the people who were like, oh, Elias is going to go in the offseason. Like, they're not going to let him trade all of these guys and restock the pantry just to let him go. Like, my guess is he's gotten the green light to, like, hey, man, go out and do whatever moves you need, you want to. But, again, it has to happen again, I think, to the highest degree now. Like, Spen, you've talked about it, but trading for Burns was awesome. And it's like, yeah. But now we need to do that again. And now,
I'd like to see him land like a serious free agent too. Like I love the Burns trade, but like he spent money in free agency pretty stupidly. Like you think about
free agency is for losers in every sport. It's for failure. It's to replace your failure in every single sport.
I mean, I'm with it.
Baseball's the one where it doesn't matter if you strike out because you can
there's no salary
in the next year. But it's like it's just overpay city, and it's free agency, and the Orioles mid-market teams don't do it. I think they should. David Rubenstein has big, deep pockets, but free agency is for
that's what I'm talking about.
Your failures.
You got a 75-year-old owner who just bought the team who has all the money in the world. Like it might be time. Like Steve Cohen buys the Mets, and now they're signing bigger free agent names than the Yankees. Like it can happen.
New York is a bigger market. Like their franchise is worth more. Their franchise is worth more. They have more equity. The equity is higher. The assets that they have to leverage are higher. So sure, I mean, he could spend his, he could liquefy assets to create cash to spend or leverage more debt, whatever. I don't think the good businessman's good business model is to do that necessarily. Unfortunately, like it's a fucking PE guy. Like
yeah, I mean he's
gonna make revenue match expenditure growth, like at best.
That's another thing. Like I, as a fan who goes to work a 9-to-5 job or a fucking 8-to-5 job at this point with the way that labor works in the United States, and I do this podcast and everything, and like I just want to talk about a fun and competitive team, and they've done a good job building a foundation toward that. But hearing about expenditures and controllable years, it's just like, just go fucking get it done. We can all agree on that, no matter how it happens.
I think 15 MLB teams would love to have Michael Elias as their GM. Frankly, I mean, who was the GM? Is the Blue Jays old GM circulating today? That video, I know you must have saw it, Eric. Basically, shit talking Elias, like, oh, well, anybody can draft at the top of the draft. Oh, how hard is it to pick the number one player 7 years in a row? It was like, okay, it happened a couple of years, but we've continuously watched the Rockies, the White Sox, these other mid-market teams unable to get out of it. They
Pirates,
won. They had the second best record in the AL behind the Astros from 2022, 2023, and 2024 accumulation wins. I mean, the playoff success, has it been there? No, but neither is the fucking Yankees. They got to the World Series last year with 4 times the payroll. So,
and that's just like cool.
The idea that he there's just this idea that he hasn't done anything or that he's not a good GM. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. They have a small payroll. Now they don't. They have a medium payroll, but he took a small payroll on a team that sucked and did what many others continuously fail to do. I mean, the Rockies have sucked for how long? The Rockies would love to bring in Michael Elias. I promise. There'd be 10 to 15 teams that would love to have Michael Elias. Like, that is what I don't really get. I think he's done a crack job, except for 2-3 things that he could have done and didn't. Like, he could have traded for Garrett Crochet. Sure, you do lose Basayo or Holiday or everyone else. You could have been more aggressive at the deadline. See, this is the thing that we say, though, like, okay, they should have been more aggressive in the 2023 deadline. Who was moved? Like, these trades usually either, like, the Orioles were going to trade who they were going to trade. There's always these, like, hype, well, they should have gotten someone better. Like, who? Someone who didn't actually get traded? Mm-hmm. Were they available? I don't know. Like, who got traded in 2023? I can't remember. Maybe there was 1 or 2 guys, and there's probably a contender that was willing to pay a little bit more. So, like, yes, they could have been a little bit more aggressive in a vacuum. I don't know. I don't really get it. I think Elias has gotten them to a great spot. If you want to argue at this point that they need someone else to take them they went from F to B and someone else to take them from B to A+, sure, I can hear that. But it's just like, Elias is a horrible, all this stuff. It's like 15 teams would probably love to have Mike Elias. I promise.
Yeah, I think they're just fundamentally in a different spot now than the Rockies. They're in a different spot now than they were, 5-6 years ago when all this started. And then, like Eric and I have been talking about for a while now, it's you tore it down, you did what you had to do. I think you've built a good foundation, and now if you got to build, you've got to find a way to build the house properly. And we were talking about before you got on, it feels like maybe in free agency skimped out a little bit, a couple of misses. Burns was great, obviously. You missed out on bringing him back. It's like, are you serious? Are you going to be able to build the house around him? Rubenstein, if he's not willing to open the checkbook in the way that I thought he was going to be, that's a bigger roadblock than anything right now. And there's just not really going to be any way to tell that but time.
I don't know at this point. Like, do we know? I've questioned the validity of the backtracking on Corbin Burns. Like that was the hope, was that, they offered Corbin Burns the highest AAV in MLB history to re-sign here. And again, I've kind of backtracked on that. Like, well, maybe they knew that he wouldn't take 4 years. So that was kind of that could be a face-saving move, but also they could have had serious concerns about dipping. Everybody, Corbin Burns' walk rate is up, his strikeout rate's down, his velo's down. And then he ends up getting Tommy John. So it's like, if that was real, we have every possible reason to feel confident that they will make the moves necessary. Again, the best pitching season of my conscious life of the Baltimore Orioles was Corbin Burns last year, right? He got the most Cy Young votes of any Orioles starter since I was 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
And you said it too. I mean, he didn't he was the only guy who showed up in the playoffs last year. Like that opening game
after 8 innings, 8 innings of 1-run ball, and they lost.
If you would have given him a bat, I'm sure he would have at least ended up on second. But this goes back to what you were talking about earlier. Like, it didn't come down to the pitcher shitting the bed. They didn't lose 10-1. They lost 2-0 or whatever it was. 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever, because the young guys didn't show up. And this is like, you've been talking about how excited you are, and I'm getting there with you. I'm getting there when you Jake, read the tweet. But no, I mean, I'm right there with you, because the next year is another year where you hope that these guys take another step forward. Jordan Westberg, even though he's been out for 70% of the games, has taken a massive step forward in my eyes. Colton hopefully is not a broken hand, thumb next year. Same thing with Adley battling the injuries. Gunnar, hopefully he gets that pop back, and Jackson has looked night and day different. Plus Kobe Mayo, who's looked like a beast the last 2 weeks. So, again, like we talked about, like there's still plenty to look upon and be like, this is, this can be good next year. This can be very, very good. It's not all doom and gloom like a lot of people are upset about.
If the Orioles are to be successful, and I tweeted earlier, like they've disappointed me every year but one in my entire life, which was 2014, when they actually had an explosive team, explosive playoff performance, went to the ALCS. That season was a resounding success to me. That was the only one. God, fucking puppy. But with that in mind, the Orioles will be defined by Gunnar, by Adley, by Jackson, by Westy, by Cowser, by Basayo. Everyone thinks I think he's going to be the best. I personally think he's going to be the best hitter, whatever. It doesn't matter about Basayo. Those guys are what is going to win or not win the playoff games. They're already here. They're already there. They're already locked in. You have 4 all-stars in your infield. Jackson very reasonably could have been an all-star as a 21-year-old this year. You have Adley, Gunnar, Westy, Holiday, and Basayo's probably going to play first. They could have 5 all-star caliber players in their infield. Cowser is a 6-hitter with a big arm in left field, in the big left field in Baltimore. That's sick. You need a new center fielder. You've got Tyler O'Neill signed. You've got, Beavers down there, corner outfield. Heston's in the mix. We'll see. I mean, who knows? Stowers 3.0, get him somewhere else. He might hit 35 home runs, whatever. But their entire lineup is good and young and locked in for the next 2 years, except for Adley, and everyone else is 3+ years. So I just don't really understand. Like, it's locked in. There's nothing to change other than just making sure the pitching is requisite like it was in 2024. The pitching was good enough. The pitching was great against the Royals. It was good enough to win that series, go into the ALDS. And the difference, that's why the playoffs in every sport are so funny. The difference of winning 2 games against the Royals, Elias is viewed differently. Everyone's viewed differently. Maybe not. I don't know. We do this with the Ravens. Like, it's not good enough to not win the Super Bowl or not go to the Super Bowl. But I think the perception of Elias, if his young studs, who he has all of his chips, he is all in. His entire legacy is defined by players that are already on the Orioles, and I'll give him Basayo. Pretty much, right? Like, that is it. So I don't really get why there's this weird, confusion of what needs to happen. It's Gunnar, it's Adley, it's Jackson, it's Westy, it's Cowser, and we'll throw Basayo in there. That is it. That is what defines the Orioles over the Elias legacy, over this era of the Baltimore Orioles, the 2020 Baltimore Orioles. That decade is defined by those players. So it's about supplementing those players. They did it decently well, pitching-wise, bullpen-wise in 2024. Maybe could have done a little more. Some of those guys weren't there yet, 2023. And at the end of the day, had a down year this year. Okay, shit happens, injuries, whatever, didn't do a good enough job. Next year will define it. And I don't know that he'll get fired. If he's going to make moves. I just don't understand. There's not a world where he doesn't make moves. There's just not a world. I think it's a 0% possibility that he does not go get and establish. He will overpay. They just got 15 prospects. They could get, I think they could get Paul Skeens. I think they could get the most untouchable pitcher in baseball. I think if you gave every Basayo and every prospect, you could get Paul Skeens. I think you could. I think you could reasonably talk the Pirates into it with Basayo and 6 other prospects in the biggest deal of all time. And you could do that if you wanted. I think that would be an attainable thing. Will it happen? No. But they could get Gore. They could get any arm that is possibly available. They can get any arm now because of what they did today. And that's all it's about, getting the arms to supplement the young core, and then the young core needs to do well in the playoffs. That's it.
Here, this is Steve Molesky. Final tally after Morton deal. 9 dealt for 16 players, counting draft pick DeBurn and Baker deal. He's got 10 top 30s, 11 pitchers, 5 position players. Organizational depth, fortitude for future deals. This is how these players could help as soon as next year. So, again, that's why I obviously see how there are people saying next year's a wash. They gave up on next year, which is, I see why you say that, but I don't agree with it. I 100% understand it, but I don't agree with it because, again, they can turn these guys around at the winter meetings. And if they land, like you said, who's one of the pitchers you mentioned? Not Skeens.
Gore, if
they trade for Mackenzie Gore and then they sign, I don't know, do you want to say they sign
Valdez?
Yeah, Framber Valdez.
I don't know that they're going to sign shit. I really don't. I don't know that they can get people to Baltimore without overpaying by $100 million. I really don't.
But you know what? Like you guys talked about earlier, if there's a sport where you can do that, baseball, you can miss in baseball. You can, and you're okay. You can do that. This is a sport where you can do that. It's not the NFL where, one bad deal and you're fucked, Baseball, it's kind of like, okay, we eat it and we move on, You admit your wrongs and you're gone, But yeah, so they can, again, they're like, 2026 it's a wash now. I don't agree with. If Westberg gets hit by a bus in the offseason and Cowser goes missing scuba diving, then yeah, sure. Say that.
I just don't really understand how you can think that next year's a wash because of what's happened this past week. They've lost no core players. The guys that weren't under contract next year are Ramon Urias, who isn't playing and is a bench player, clearly isn't valuable. Otherwise, they would have gotten more. No, Elias could have got more. Okay. How do you know? How do you know that? Okay. Then Kittredge, there is 15 Kittredge every free agent class. There's 15 of him every single year. The Rogers twins are free agent. There's all these guys.
You can rebuild a bullpen in an off.
They've done it every year, frankly. Every year they've completely reworked the bullpen.
Everybody does it. Yes. That's if there, like I said, if there's one thing that you can rebuild like that, it's a bullpen. And the Orioles absolutely can do that.
They need 2 starters. They need 2 good starters. Yep. They need 2 good starters. That's it. And they didn't lose 2 good starters. They didn't gain 2 good starters, but they gained ammo to get them. So are you I just don't know why what happened gives you less confidence in next year. Ramon Urias gives you less confidence. He's there. I personally love him. I've been a fan of him. I'm always on my fantasy team. I think he's a sick player, but he's replaceable.
Yeah. What's he going to start 120 games next year, 110 games? You know?
I'll take a high-end veteran bat there too.
I don't know. I don't understand not being like, hell yeah. The things I want Elias to do, personnel-wise, acquisition-wise, the Orioles have more ammo to do now because of that. So why is that not good? Why is that not happy? I don't get it. To me, it is such a binary yes. The things they did are good for the next year Orioles. I don't understand.
It's just been a shitty calendar year of baseball, just in every respect, and it's worn people down. And
but also all that again, this last year being so shitty, especially this year, like Jake, we talked about it. But how many people all year were like, trade everyone, get everyone out of here. I don't want to see a single one of them back. And then they do. And people are like, how could you?
I don't know the answer.
Trade Ramon Urias. How could you? How dare you?
I don't know the answer to that question. Like, I think you might be generalizing a little bit. You might see that from one person and then see another person who, we talk about your Lamar Lover 420s. Like, you might be just kind of overgeneralizing the discourse.
No, he's not, because there are the individuals that get pissed when they don't draft pitchers, and then when they trade for them are also pissed. I see the accounts. I can name them if you want. It is a double standard that makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Those people
want pitchers in the farm system, but then when they what did you want Ryan O'Hearn to finish the year here? For what? How does that help the 2026 Orioles? Let him go for nothing. I don't understand. What was there to gain? Having Kittredge, Ramon Urias, and Urias next year? What the fuck does that do? Those are literally the 3 most average Major League Baseball players that you can sign every year in every free agent class, like they did with those players. They claimed Urias off of waivers, and he was a league average player. They've signed Laureano for a cheap deal. He's playing well this year, league average player over the last 5 years. Kittredge is a nice arm, nice 7th inning arm. The 3 easiest things to find: a replaceable third baseman, a corner outfielder, a righty corner outfielder, which you already have, and a fucking bullpen arm.
Yeah. The 32-year-old, first baseman DH right fielder
who's on an expiring contract.
Yeah. That's again, they were always going to trade those guys. Like, always.
I'm pumped. I'm glad they did it. I actually, SETI, it's emotional. There's the emotional aspect. Like, I'll leave that to talk about more. You guys know I love Mullins, O'Hearn. You love the players, but the year's over.
This also, like, I was seeing, like, with Mullins especially, I saw someone be like, when is going to be the next time we see someone begin and end their career, as an Oriole? And it's like, that doesn't happen anymore. Freddie Freeman is on his second team. Juan Soto is on his 4th team. Like, Shohei Ohtani. We saw it with Adam Jones, like a hometown guy.
There's like 2 I can think of off the top of my head. Trout. There's Judge, I get. There's Trout, there's Judge, there's Kershaw.
Yeah. Well, and again, those kind of are 3 guys in their own thing, but people being like, said he needs to stay, he needs to be an Orioles lifer. Like, that's never going to happen. You get Cal, you get one of those every 50 years. Like, that's just, it's people romanticizing things. And like you said, like, the older you get and the longer you watch sports, you realize, like, oh yeah, this shit doesn't go the way that we always thought it would be, That's just how it goes now.
I really wish I had Vlad Guerrero Jr. signed up long term. Like, okay, the Blue Jays are having a nice year. Okay, I don't know. I get there's people want to buy a jersey. Like, yeah, you put it well. The romanticization of fandom, and I sure, but if you want to talk about what makes the Orioles better next year, it's getting the studs and having the star players play better. Frankly, Gunner's having a nice year. If
fourth in MVP last
if you could show me his stats, which are still very good, and his production for where he is this year in June of last year, I'd be like, shit, where'd the pop go? You know, where oh shit, he didn't hit 50 home runs in 2025. And maybe that's unrealistic on me, but it's like, oh, Adley hit 220. What the fuck? Adley was 5th in MVP in June of last year, 5th on FanDuel and DraftKings for MVP odds. Oh, Westy was an all-star last year. He only played 50 games. That's 70 games so far. Oh, that stinks. Oh, Kowser missed a ton and is having a worse year than last year. Like, all of their best guys underperformed. They underperformed. Can't happen again.
Yeah. And again, this is, I mean, we've said it before, but this offseason, this season, this has to be just an absolute a wake-up call. Being like, hey, guy, I think I don't know if they got complacent after 23 and 24. I've said it for a while. I think they got 24 and 23 switched. They should have won 92 games in 2023 and then taken another step up to 101 games in 2024. That's the natural progression, instead of winning 101 and being like, oh, we won the division. This shit's easy. Yeah, let's just run it back and we're going to trade for Corbin Burns and we'll be good. Yeah, we'll get there. No, because they had all the injury luck in the world in 23, and that turned around in 24, and it turned around in 25, like you're seeing. So, it's just they've got to get it straightened out and figured out and go from there. But like we said, they have the pieces are all still there. Every single big piece and big building block is there. So it's
if they added no one to the lineup for just the lineup for 2026, they would have Adley, Westy, Gunnar, Jackson. I'll say Basayo, Mayo, O'Neill, Kowser, Beavers. That's top fucking 7 lineup in Major League Baseball. Probably.
As much as we don't want to hear it too, Kerstad's there. Mountcastle is obviously still there. We don't know what happens with him in the offseason. But yeah, that teams, like I said, there are teams that would kill to have those guys still sitting around and being like, all right, that's a very good lineup. That is a very, very solid lineup. So
add some pitchers. Use the 16 prospects you acquired. Add pitchers. One bat. I mean, add a bat, sure, but those guys have to hit better in the playoffs. They need to get to the playoffs with a better staff, and the bullpen has to be reworked, which they've literally done every year. The last 3 years where they had successful years. It's so new pieces. Cieno Perez was a fucking stud in 2023, and he's DFA'd.
Yeah, he's back in Norfolk, baby. What is your all right? So you have said what's the need list, the want list? What's your grocery shopping in the offseason for the Orioles? You said
pry Nathan Eovaldi from the Rangers and trade for Mackenzie Gore or something like that, and then rework the bullpen, and you're good.
So you're looking at a Mackenzie Gore, Bradish. I'm already kind of penciling Grayson out. I'm kind of we're gonna scratch him off. So that's Mackenzie Gore, like a Nathan Eovaldi. Do you try and re-sign Eflin? Do you look at somebody like that or Sagano? Is that because again, you could put, if you put them at the end of the lineup with, Trevor Rogers, with Dean Kramer, those guys, it's not, like you said, a couple more 2 arms, 3 maybe. I think you're sitting fine,
3 would be glorious. 2 is enough. 2 is all they need to do.
I love that.
I was still in on it literally until they started trading people. Why not? I got pissed the other day when they lost to 2 days ago. Was that yesterday? When they lost to the Blue Jays yesterday, I was pissed. They're still, what the Tigers didn't sell like this. They didn't have as many rentals and spare parts to sell off, but they still have a good enough lineup.
See, I see what Mike is saying. They will.
He's a veteran.
Yeah.
Westy's 27 years old. O'Neill's a veteran.
But also, they refused to do it. They added Laureano. Laureano was a veteran. They added
Carlson, O'Neill, Laureano.
I'm with them, though.
Feel like overpay for Alonso or Schwarber, just to make me feel good. That would be so much fun.
Could you imagine if they won't? But could you imagine if they got Schwarber?
That would be sick. All he would do is just hit, just rake, for 1 year, whatever it is, just bring him in. And we talked about a veteran bat last offseason. That would be so much fun. And you're right. Some of these guys are veterans already at this point, but a guy who's actually been there and done that, I think that could actually do some good.
Yeah, and again, I'm with him. You do need the veteran leadership because you need those guys. You need a Rougned Odor. You need an Adam Frazier. Those, Tommy Pham is in the playoffs except for this year every single year. For a reason. Like that, you need those kind of guys out there. So not every veteran that you get is going to be a Pete Alonso or a Kyle Schwarber or like that. I'm going to beat my chest and follow me into the war. They don't have to be the big pieces, but they can be complementary pieces and they can go out and 100% add one of those guys who can be a Ramon, your middle infield guy, your left side of the infield guy who can do whatever and make $4 million and go from there.
I almost don't want that. I almost want like Adley to have to be a playoff performer and it be Adley and Gunnar and Westy's locker room. And they need to craft the next era and step up into it's the baseball bar mitzvah. Like you need to become a man now. You don't need daddy. You don't need some 34-year-old to come in, like step the fuck up, make this your clubhouse. Elias just cleared the clubhouse out. Whose clubhouse is it? It's not going to be fucking Schwarber's. It's going to be Gunnar Henderson's. Like,
did you see?
I don't even need it to be his clubhouse. I just want him to fucking rake. Like, I just want to
rake and dominate the clubhouse. Like that's what these guys are supposed to be doing. They're number one. They've literally have 3 number 1 prospects who are all-star players. That's the clubhouse.
They had the Mansolino had quotes like that where they asked him yesterday about I'm trying to find it about they basically said yesterday like when you trade these guys, are these young guys ready to step up? And he was like, absolutely they are. And of course he's going to say that. He has to say that. There's no way he's gonna be like, oh God, no, heavens no, you can't have Gunnar can't be the leader. You can't do this. But he was like, absolutely. These guys know it's their time now. And I'm with you. You know what they almost need to do? They got to get maybe Adam takes him out to like Bali or the Maldives or Spain and takes him under his wing and is like, listen, guys, I did it. Now it's up to you guys. Who better to teach these guys like, hey, now is your time to be a leader. You do it on the field. You speak when you need to and be the example that folks follow. And for the most part, those guys are. Gunnar is in there every day. Adley's playing pretty much every day when he can, they're doing that stuff. Right. But I'm with you, Spen. I would love to see them step up and Gunnar, hey, this is my team. This is my team. And same thing. If they want to be a trio and do it, perfectly fine. Hold kangaroo court, do whatever they need to. Absolutely. And
they've got that whole posse. That whole thing is its own posse. It's Westy, Cowser, Adley, Gunnar. And I don't want anyone bailing. Like, I don't want someone to bail them out. Like, I want them to sink or swim. I want that to be what defines them. It has to be. That is what makes the Orioles the team that every Orioles fan has wanted them to be. Is those guys stepping up on the field in the clubhouse, doing the things they need to in the offseason. And of course, give them all the tools possible. But the guy's been playing baseball 20 years, man. Like at least 28? Been playing baseball 20 years. Like I'm just tired of we need to do this. That we didn't do this for. They got to do it themselves, man. You got to do it yourself at this point. Like Gunnar next year, you got to do it yourself. There's no how many ABs does Gunnar have now in the big leagues? 2,000.
That's a lot. Big time shitter get off the pot.
1,500, 2,000
for everyone, for front office, for players, for hot dog vendors, scoreboard operators, everyone.
His 1,700 at bats,
1,500
appearances or more. So, it's time. They cleared house. Gunnar, Adley, Westy, Cowser, it's yours. Jackson, it's yours. He's the only one I would say. I mean, the kid's 20. He's 22 now.
21.
I'll exclude him from that. But at this point, that's Elias's legacy. He has to supplement those guys with the right staff, and he did it in 2024. He didn't do it in 2025. Clearly, he went on camera and was like, I fucked up. I didn't do a good enough job this year when they were 17 games under 500, 50 games into the season. So, I don't know. I just think everything is – the writing on the wall is so obvious of who needs to step up, what Elias needs to do and will do, and now they have the ammo to do it. So, I'm excited for that. Tired of the pissing and moaning about it. The Orioles are a dog shit franchise. They have been my entire life. They have 5 fucking all-star infielders. They have a great core. They've been successful, had one down year. It's like, Jesus, mother of God.
This is for all the listeners. These are like the not unhinged, but these are like the texts we'll get at like, I don't know, what, 11:30 at night, 11:45 from Spenny, just being like out of nowhere, being like, well, fuck this team. This city sucks. The warehouse is an eyesore.
Whoa, city team, yes. Warehouse is gorgeous, but
you just send it. You know, my friend didn't know what the warehouse was. She had no clue that the warehouse was like a
landmark.
monument. Yeah, she was like, I just thought it was like a building. It's like, oh, honey, no. So that was pretty funny. And here, I mean, all right, this guy Mason, I know he's been kind of clowning us for having the belief. I think with his back against the wall, like the people who think that like Michael Elias is just here to cash a paycheck and like, we're just going to rebuild the farm system. Like that's not how things work. Like, he has a job. He wants to keep his job. Would you not?
However, what's blind? This is the first time in my life they won 100 games. He traded for the best pitcher, a Cy Young winner who got Cy Young votes, to supplement his young core. They won 190 games in 2 years with a dog shit payroll. Like what is blind? What is blind? Because they didn't get Garrett Crochet. They didn't make the one move that would have. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what is blind. He made a dog. He got given nothing but draft picks. Nothing. He got high draft picks from his team sucking, and they turned out really well. Developed those guys, and then they won 190 games in 2 years, and then had a down year with the second most injured team in baseball. What is blind? Respond. Like, I hate all of you. I seriously do. I hate every single Orioles fan. I really do. I hate you guys. You don't deserve, like, the Orioles suck. They've sucked my entire life, and that's what you guys deserve. Seriously. I don't want them to be like, I almost don't want them to be good now. I don't want Elias to get a pitcher. I want all of your dreams to come true.
Well, again, I've told you,
I get to go manage it. Like, seriously, I don't like it. I don't like the Orioles as an organization, really. I don't. I hate that I'm a fan of them. I wish they were a better baseball team in my lifetime.
I've told you this.
I don't like you guys either. I really don't.
I said, I think people just want to be right more than they want to see the team win. Like, I think people want to say, see, I told you in 2020 or 2021 that he couldn't do it. And I was right. I'm right. Over like them making the World Series, winning a World Series, being like, oh, you know what? Credit to Mike Elias and the team for doing this,
It's the players, though. Like, that's every sport. The GM, the failures are always on everyone but the players, which is why New York sports media kind of rocks, because they don't roll like that. They'll rip the players. Like, no, the failures are never your sweet players that you own the jersey of. Nobody comes to see the coach. Nobody comes to see the manager. It's true, but I just really don't understand. Like, the Orioles are having a bad year. Because their five best players have underperformed this year. And the Orioles, could they have done a better job to help them? Not sure. All of them are on the IL. Every single good player they've had. All of their players have been hurt. All of the good players. Kowser, Westberg, Adley, Gunnar. Jackson has not. Eflin. Grayson never came back. That's on Elias. Sure. Shouldn't have counted on him. Like, your top pitchers and your top hitters have all been injured. That's the result. That is why the Orioles are, what are they, 7, 8 games under? Are they 8 right now?
8
games under 500.
Makes
sense. That makes sense to me. And people people kept saying a couple weeks ago, the Astros are hurt.
Yeah, that's what I see.
They just got hurt. They just got hurt. They weren't that hurt. They're missing what, like Arrighetti and like one other player until like
Pena.
Didn't Pena just get hurt? Wasn't that like 2 weeks ago he got hurt?
A couple weeks ago, but
he was healthy up until that point. They're like, they're in first place. Like, yeah, they didn't have any injuries until 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Yeah, tough. Again, tensions are high. Everybody is There should be like a dead period on Twitter where like only like actual like reporters and like people who are verified can tweet, and like everyone else just has to like shut the fuck up for like
do whatever you
24
want,
hours.
tweet however you want, fan however you want. I mean, I don't like the Orioles. I literally don't. You guys know this. I live a 15-minute walk from the stadium. I've spent $0 going to Orioles games this year. I was given tickets to 3 games by friends. Those are the only games I've gone to. I refuse to pay them my money. I hate them so much.
Let's go this week. Let's go next
and
week.
I frankly I hate Adley. Like as a fan, I paid, I'm doing the thing that I hate when Ravens fans do. Oh, I pay money for my tickets. Well, I've gone to 5 fucking playoff games in the last 2 years. And Adley has like 1 fucking hit in those games. Pisses me off. He pisses me off. As a fan, I'm pissed off at Adley Rushman. I'm pissed off at their young core for underperforming. And I don't give them my money that I work to earn because of it. So, like, I'm not happy with the Orioles. I'm happier today than I have been since the All-Star break last year, because now they have the ammo to do the damage that they need to do in the moves they need to make.
And now it's the waiting game. And again, now this is where the like, will Michael Elias do the right thing? That's what we're hoping,
Does he have the courage to do what needs to be done?
He's got to do it. He's got to do it, or he's going to be looking for a job. That's one of the like, why should we believe that he's going to do it? Because he's going to be looking for a job next year if he doesn't do it.
He already did it last year with like top 5 pitcher in baseball who got Cy Young votes on the Orioles.
Run it back. Let's run it back.
I just truly don't understand. That's the craziest. That's the one that's really set me off. Why do we have any belief that he'll do it? Because he's done it. Nick Saban loves the quote. The best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. I've said it 1,000 times. He traded prospects for a great pitcher, but suddenly he's not going to do that anymore. Crazy town. Crazy town.
It's going to be an interesting roster transaction moves tomorrow. Can you imagine if they had to play a game tonight?
Beavers joining the team in Chicago, maybe. I might have gotten duped by some idiot fake breaking news. But Mayo, like, what are people complaining about? Why isn't Mayo playing? Now Mayo gets to play the rest of the year. The year's lost. Why isn't Mayo playing? Next thing to be mad about. They traded Ramon Urias, who is literally the most replaceable player. They traded Ramon Urias, who doesn't play and blocks the player that I like to complain about playing more. Whenever
that's going to open up more at bats, again, with O'Hearn gone, and now because now you got 2 first basemen in Mountie and Mayo, who are both righties, and ideally they're both going to be in there. You would think they're going to get all the at bats. So now we're going to.
Sayo will be up
at 2 weeks, 15th or whatever.
It's Gunner come up.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as Gunner, same thing as Heston. It's going to be that same kind of timeline.
August 15th, maybe.
I think it was 14th, 15th. One of those.
Basayo will be up in 2-3 weeks. Beavers will be up, I don't know, in the next week or 2 as well. Mm-hmm. Mayo will get every day at bats.
Again, the clamoring for like, let's see what the young guys have. Now we're going to see. So this is what we're doing. So.
They're the reverse Mariners. It's crazy that those two still haven't made one trade, right? Throughout this tenure.
Who?
The Mariners and the Orioles. Have they made one deal?
Yes, for Luis Castillo. The other Luis Castillo. It's a bad one.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're those. That's the upside down world. The Mariners. They had to buy some bats. The Orioles have to buy some arms.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. I think we're all tuckered out. Our buddy Robert Greer says you sound like Tucker Carlson.
Shut the fuck up, Robbie.
I think Tucker's a little more measured. He's a little more like there's a little more like intentional venom. I think Spenny's just kind of shooting from the hip a little bit.
Shooter.
Big week for him. Big week for Shooter.
Big week.
Really big week for him. And a big week for the Baltimore Orioles, of course, who have pulled the plug on 2025, and we now all look ahead with bated breath to 2026. I think a lot of vitriol in the fan base right now, a lot of anger. Some of it legitimate, some of it maybe a little bit displaced. Spenny has certainly had his say. Eric and I have had our say. I don't know, man. All I can say is that I'm rooting like hell for this front office to figure it out. I've got my concerns. I've got my things that I have well-placed faith in, I believe. And I guess we'll see what happens come the winter meetings and come free agency. And who the fuck knows if baseball is even going to be played in 2027. So, yeah, we're in a weird spot here. But overall, good chat with you guys. Thanks to everyone who hopped in here and hung with us for this hour. So, had about 2,000 people hanging with us live here. Thanks for everyone listening after the fact. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Follow us on social media at X52 Podcast on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. You can find me at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Spenny is at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle there. Eric at EDITTI22. Ryan at Barstool Banks. And Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Thanks again, y'all. And we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.